What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia, back with another waiver wire video. It's week 8 in Major League Baseball, and right here on the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now. Click that little bell till it goes ding so you can know every time a piece of content drops here. Welsh is doing the trade videos. I'm doing the waiver wire, and of course, we're both doing Leading Off Live every single day. And this week, there's a lot of names to add, including some offenses that are looking for a little bit of a jolt. So if your fantasy offense is looking for that too, here are some names to add, plus some pitchers too. All kinds of fun. But speaking of fun, have you tried So Rare yet? Because I think you should. If you like Major League Baseball, if you like fantasy baseball, if you like cards and digital cool stuff, well, head over to fantasypros.com/collect to sign up today for free. Build and manage your own fantasy baseball team like a pro. You buy, you sell, you scout, and you can also compete with us because we've got something cool going on, the fantasypros.com/leading off league. So compete against our friends, the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks, in this amazing new So Rare experience. Again, if you want to join, now's the time, fantasypros.com/collect to take your fantasy baseball experience to the next level with So Rare MLB. So let's get after it. Here are the names to add in week 8 in Major League Baseball. Let's kick things off with Casey Schmidt, third baseman for the San Francisco Giants, rostered already in roughly 50% of leagues. Now, since Casey Schmidt's been called up to the big leagues, he has produced .438 batting average, just 4 strikeouts, already 2 home runs, and 6 runs scored in his first 8 games. The interesting thing about Schmidt, he was more of a contact hitter in the minor leagues, so the immediate power has been a little bit of a surprise, but he's not bereft of it. So the question is, can he maintain any sort of power pace in the big leagues? That is an interesting question to ask ourselves, but that's not why we're picking him up. What we're trying to do here when we're looking for a guy like Casey Schmidt is, can he continue to make contact? And if he continues to do what he did at AAA, where he hit at a .313 clip with a .352 OBP, then you'll accept the round 400 slugging percentage. He's probably a player that's better suited to points leagues or head-to-head weekly options than he is necessarily season-long roto, because he's not a big power speed guy, but we all could use some batting average help, so maybe Casey Schmidt can help you there as well. Next on this list, let's head down to the heart of Texas for Dane Dunning, starting pitcher / relief pitcher for the Texas Rangers, rostered also in roughly 50% of leagues. Now, that dual eligibility with Dane Dunning is useful, and while he's making starts for the Texas Rangers, he is very useful. So far, he's got a 1.69 ERA and a .88 whip on the season over 37 innings, and also 23 strikeouts to 7 walks. So that ratio is very good. I know what you're thinking. Well, that can't possibly sustain a 1.69 ERA, but I will say this. If you look at his expected ERA over his innings this year, it's 3.5. That's a pretty good number. And when you consider some of the injuries that they've had already in Texas and the giant looming question mark of whether or not Jacob deGrom will pitch again in 3 weeks or won't he, then I think you go ahead and you pick up Dane Dunning and you stream him as long as you can. We all know injuries can pop up at any time in any rotation. So Dunning might be a guy, when all is said and done, who could make 20 starts at the end of the year, believe it or not. So I would be adding Dane Dunning, a guy who had a high pedigree as a pitching prospect and who looks like he's finally figuring things out in Texas. Let's add another pitcher to the waiver wire list, and it's James Paxton of the Boston Red Sox, starting pitcher, who is also, believe it or not, rostered in roughly 50% of leagues. Now, James Paxton has had a tricky career. I know what you're saying. Come on, James Paxton, how long is he going to pitch for? Well, the answer is none of us know, because injuries have certainly been something that have plagued this starter for quite some time. But here's the thing when it comes to James Paxton. He is healthy right now, and when Paxton historically has been healthy, he's been a dominant starting pitcher. At this point, he's 34 years old, so he's not too old over the hill where you can't get anything out of him, and it's already mid-May before he's making a return. Can he stay healthy the rest of the season? I think that might be a big ask, but I don't think anybody expected him to come up in his first start, throw 5 innings of 4-hit baseball with 9 strikeouts. So James Paxton certainly has an opportunity to stick in this Boston Red Sox rotation. There was some rumors that he might end up in the bullpen. That's probably not the best idea. So as long as Paxton is healthy, and I know that could be a short window, but he could help you in a short window in fantasy. So I would add him regardless to your list of players to add this week, and just kind of hold your breath and maybe do a good deed or give some money to charity in James Paxton's name and hope that he stays healthy for, I don't know, 15 starts? Maybe that's asking too much. We'll see. Now, the Reds called up a prospect this week. It wasn't the one we thought it was going to be. It turned out to be Matt McLean, so let's add him. Also, can you believe it? Rostered in roughly 50% of leagues. What's going on right now? So Matt McLean qualifies at shortstop in your leagues, and the rookie infielder earned the promotion to the majors after showing a 346, 464, 713 slash line with 12 homers and 10 stolen bases in AAA. Look, whether or not you believe in the power of Matt McLean, it doesn't really matter. It's about believing in the stolen bases. The wheels are obvious here, so he would be an immediate asset to any roto format, whether it be head-to-head or season-long roto. But I will say this, Ellie De La Cruz and Christian Encarnacion Strand are still much better long-term investments. So if those guys are on the board, I'd still be adding them to stash. Even though Matt McLean has already now broken through the big leagues, it's probably only a matter of time before the rest of the kids get a chance. So right now, Matt McLean's the guy to add this week if you need immediate help, especially since he's batting second so far in the early going in that lineup. Batting position matters in the order, and if McLean can hold on to that spot, that could be really good for his run production as well. Here's an outfielder that's flying under the radar. It's Dominic Fletcher of the Arizona Diamondbacks, rostered in just 30% of leagues. Now, the long-term ceiling for Fletcher is questionable, but a spot opened up when Jake McCarthy struggled out of the gate. So far on the season, over 15 games, Dominic Fletcher has been able to lock down a starting spot, hitting a whopping 337 with 2 homers already on the season and 7 runs scored. Whether or not we believe he can keep up this pace, it's probably a no, but if you're in the need for immediate help, let's say you've had some injuries at the position, there's probably an opportunity to pick up this guy, especially considering that he did hit 313 and slugged 497 in the minors over the last 2 years. But again, take that with a grain of salt, because AA Amarillo and AAA Reno are both very hitter-friendly environments. But at this point, do we care? Is Fletcher producing? Yes. Is he a cheap ad? Yes. Is he flying under the waiver wire? Yes. And should you add him? Yes. And I should stop asking myself questions and interviewing myself? Yes. Next on the list this week is Alex Kiriloff. Oh, the first base / outfielder of the Minnesota Twins, available in roughly 50% of leagues. Yep, that's right, the 50 returned. Now, Alex Kiriloff has been a tease many times. We've been waiting for this prospect for some time to really start to pop for Minnesota. He was their number 1 guy after Buxton got called up, and it's been a long wait. So far, though, since his 10-game call-up, he has looked pretty good, hitting a 312 so far on the season with 2 homers and 6 runs scored. Alex Kiriloff was also crushing the ball in the minor leagues before initially getting this call-up, having dealt with an injury early in the season, and that's really been the problem for him. It's been the injury bug that continues to bite him over and over and over, and what you're just hoping for is a guy that can stay healthy for once, and if Alex Kiriloff can, we know playing time is not going to be an issue. The ceiling for this player is all-star level, but the problem is people have forgotten about him or just been so disenfranchised with having him time and time again only to be disappointed. Sort of like what happened with Jared Kelenic, Alex Kiriloff is in that same vein, so if he's still available, go out there and add him. He might even be an interesting trade option, too, in any long-term Dynasty Keeper League scenario, because the bloom is off the rose with Kiriloff, but it looks like this rose might finally be starting to bloom for the Minnesota Twins. And last but not least this week, Mark Vientos of the New York Mets getting the call from AAA, rostered right now as this recording starts in roughly 16% of leagues. Now, here you go. Mark Vientos is not the end-all be-all answer to the woes of the Mets offense, and the Mets offense is woeful, full of woe as are Mets fans. But Mark Vientos could at least be a piece to get things going in the right direction. This season in the minor league levels, he's got 1,000 OPS with an 11% walk rate, a 20% strikeout rate, but it's really the power that we're looking for. He is absolutely crushing the baseball to the tune of a 333 batting average, a 416 OBP, and an amazing 688 slugging. The dude's got 13 bombs in 38 games with 37 RBI to go along with it. Look, Vientos is absolutely killing the baseball right now, and he's got to play every day. And if the Mets called him up, my expectation is that he's going to. Now, will he play third base? There's questions about the defense. Brett Beatty's there as well, although Beatty has had his struggles. There's also a question whether or not he would just transition right into DH. I don't care where it is, but the Mets have to find everyday at-bats for this guy. That's the only reason they're bringing him up. They need some offensive help. Hopefully, this is the guy to add this week, and maybe Ronnie Mauricio in the weeks ahead. But Vientos is a must-add right now because the power ceiling is legit. There you have it. Those are the names that I'm adding. Who are the names that you're adding? Drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. And don't forget, you can play So Rare as well. Head over to FantasyPros.com/collect today, or you can join our league as well. Lots of cool things going on in the So Rare space, and we like to have fun. Baseball can be fun. Yes, that's true. So that'll do it for me, Joey P, for Week 8. We'll see you next time, kids.